Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing deck profile on, I guess we'll do Genesis today. So we're going to do like a thing now where I'm going to be doing the Genesis or the Witches subclan of these three clans. So Oracle Think Tank was the first one to get the Witches archetype or subclan, or whatever you want to call it, back in the day with Scarlet Witch Coco, but they didn't really have a whole lot more for a long time until now. Genesis and Shadow Paladins got them back in 2014 when Legion format started with the extra booster Requiem at Dusk for Shadow Paladin and Waltz of the Goddess for Genesis. So today we'll do the Genesis one. I think that's the most straightforward one in terms of like how the deck's changed. This one didn't change all that much. It's still running the same grade 3 lineup. So it didn't change really at all, really, in terms of the deck. It just upgraded the cards to the new support. So it's still running the 4 Witch Snake, Witch Mint, and 4 of the Fennel, Witch of Eagles Fennel. So the interesting thing about the Genesis Witches, at least from what I noticed, is they all have some kind of like animal thing as their helper or something. So kind of like the Scholar or the Arcanist or the Summoner in Final Fantasy 14. I don't know if anyone plays that, but yeah, that's I don't know. That's just the impression that I got. What they were going for, some kind of weird like mage that uses like nature stuff. So anyway, they didn't change, but they're the same. Next for the grade 2s, Witch of Golden Eagles Jasmine. She is the Legion mate for Fennel. And in the current format, really, I feel like Fennel is a little bit more useful than Mint. So that's why I do run them in terms of equal numbers. Jasmine, because it's Legion mate, you want to run 3 or 4. And then the other grade 2 being Black Snake Witch Chicory. So this is the 12k for Genesis Witches, and it's Legion mate for Mint. And then for the other grade 2, I am running the Witch of White Rabbits Cardamom. She is the replacement to Chamomile. She has been in here since I retuned the deck back when GBT04 came out. So with Fighters Collection, you can probably already guess how the deck changed. So nice thing about her compared to Chamomile, she's a really good upgrade for the Witches because she hits the field from the soul. When she's Soul Blasted, you counterblast 1 and call her, Superior Call her to a rearguard circle, and she's an 11k that turn. So that's pretty nice. So she could potentially attack the Vanguard without a booster if you have like a completely depleted column with nothing. So that's the grade 2 lineup. I may actually, because neither one of these really, because all they do is they Soul Blast, they don't actually need either one, like them or the Legion mate for any of their effects. I was actually thinking of dropping either Jasmine or Chicory. Probably Chicory because she doesn't help Soul Charge down to 3 and bumping this up to 4. So let me know in the comments, like if you would, like what would your lineup be if you wanted to run 4 Cardamom, or do you think 3 Cardamom is good enough? But that would be useful because I feel like if you're up against a deck, this deck struggles with decks that like to blow up the field, like Narukami and Kagero. So I feel like 4 of Cardamom might be better against Narukami. So let me know in the comments what you think regarding that grade 2 lineup. For grade 1s, 4 Witch of Strawberries Framboise. So she's the Witch Perfect Guard. And then 4 of the new Fighters Collection card, Witch of Quill Pens Oneon. This is good against decks that like to blow up your back row. So examples of that would be Seal Dragons because they're kind of a thing now, but people still don't really play them that much. And also Shadow Paladins, Revengers particularly. They like to blow up your rear guards in the back row. So that's why I'm running 4 of her. So that's why I was also thinking of running 4 of this. Because essentially they do the same thing. So what she does is, same as Cardamom, when she gets Soul Blasted, you can counterblast 1, Superior Call her, and she's a 9k for that turn. So 9 plus the 12 Chicory, or the, well, 11 and 9 isn't really all that good. But that's why I feel like Chicory might be good. Maybe only like 3 of Jasmine, but Jasmine helps Soul Charge, and the deck does run into Soul Charge problems. So, I don't know. Next we have 3 Witch of Melons Thyme. So she's an interesting card. She came out in GBT04 with her. Basically, when she's placed on R, doesn't matter where, when she's placed on R, if you have a Vanguard with a Witch, you can look at 3, put 1 in the soul, and the rest go to the drop zone. So she helps speed up Legions, so that's why I'm running like 3 of her for that reason. And she does kind of Soul Charge 1. And it's kind of a, I don't know, better Soul Charge than blind Soul Charging. So that's why I run her over Witch of Cats, Cumin, because she lets you pick. So even if you get like, let's say you get like 2 crits and like 1 of these, you can tutor this into the soul, which that's why I think this is good with this and this. And then you can dump the 2 criticals into the drop zone, and then when you Legion, you just put the criticals back. So it doesn't really hurt throwing criticals away. Just get them back. And then I am running 3 Witch of Peaches Bellany, because she's a 10k, just in case you can't form proper columns. Even like if you have to move her up, if you have to Soul Blast like her or something, that forms 17 that turn. So not that bad. And then for the grade 0s, it's very simple. It's just, well, it's 12 critical. So 4 of Kukuda Hime, because she's just the Glim of Victory clone. Really good. 4 Witches Familiar. This is the other new card they got. So they got a new 1, 2, and another 1 from Fire's Collection. And a grade 4. So this one, it's, I almost never use the effect, but what it does is you can put it on top of the deck during the main phase. Shuffle the deck, and if you have a Vanguard with Witch in the name, you draw a card, look at 3. So it does the same thing as her, except it replaces itself. This one just gets its effect when it's placed on the field. So 4 of that. There's no reason why not to run it. It's a Witch in the name. And then Lemon Witch Limosina. She's from the trial deck that came out with Angelica, for those wondering. And then 4 Witch of Big Pots. She's also from that trial deck, but she was also printed originally when Genesis debuted. She was the original heel trigger. And then I am still actually running Witch of Prohibited Book Cinnamon. And I feel like maybe I can run the grade 3 Searcher, or even a Menno Huakari, but a Menno is so slow. And this has Witch in the name, so if you Soul Blast it out, you could potentially, like, I don't know, draw, you know, like with her effect, you can like search witches. So I just wanted to be like super consistent. Plus, if you do her effect early, she does go in the soul and soul charge too, so that does add 3 more to the soul, helping you hit that number. So I feel like she's still pretty good. You can also try running Prey Angel, the Regalia one. I don't remember right now off the top of my head if that is restricted to Regalia though. Maybe it's if you have a Regalia Legion. If not though, that could be a good one because that would get you a soul charge of 4. But again, that one is restricted to Legion. This one's not. So okay, so for the Stride deck, I am running 2 Witch Queen of Holy Water Clove. She is surprisingly decent in here. She kind of does what Mint does, only she has triple drive. So basically when she attacks and you have a heart with Witch in the name, you can Soul Blast 6, and then during your turn, all your units with Witch in the name get plus 5k. So again, if Cinnamon, if I'm striding, and this is like I first wrote, if I went second and I'm striding, Cinnamon will get 5k. So that's pretty good. And then she'll go in the soul and put 3 more if they don't guard it. But usually they won't guard on this because it's really strong. And then if you stride it late, so that's if you do first stride. If you do first stride, it's kind of like the Evangeline a little bit, where it like makes the whole field really strong. But if you stride her second, or no, if you, let's say you Legion first, that's what I meant to say. If you Legion first and you stride second, then she gets a critical. So basically, if you're in Legion, she gets a critical. If you're not in Legion, you're like first striding her, that she doesn't get a critical, but she still makes the field really strong. So you could potentially run like 3 of her. I feel like 3 would be pretty good. 2 is fine though. I haven't found any issues with it. I am still running of course I'm gonna run Vanguard at 2. I don't have 4 Yeah, I know he'd be pretty good at 4. He's kind of lame at 2. But this thing generates enough pressure on its own, because it doesn't have to hit. And then this guy does help you set up stack, so he does have that play available. So I think like having 2 of this is enough, because they Soul Blast 6 and this Soul Blast is 6. So it's like 3 strides, 1, 2, 3, that Soul Blast 6. So it's kind of like, yeah, witches have a hard time soul charging anyway. So I feel like this is already fine. And then of course 2, Great Angel Doom Brace, because he can refill the soul charge, so he can essentially soul charge for free. So I tend to actually use him as first stride sometimes, if I'm especially if I'm not in Legion, because then he's just really pretty good. And then I am running the 1 Goddess of Firmament Dione. When it hits a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 3. And if you do look at 3 cards from top, search your 1, put it in your hand, put the rest into your soul. So her, because it's kind of like a Soul Blast 1 to draw a card if they let it hit. And then of course I am running Madhu as the last one because of the Legions. So Madhu is there if I know what's in their hand. And yeah, so that's basically it. I feel like it's fine the way it is with just 2 of this. But let me know in the comments like what you would run. I guess people are probably gonna say run 4 of this, don't run this. So in that case, it would probably be 1 of each of these, or maybe don't run this at all, and maybe run either this. Well, these would be like 4 Vangrandir, and then you would have 1 of this and 1 of this, or maybe 2 of this, or maybe like that. I don't know. So let me know in the comments below what you guys, if you play this deck, how do you think it does? I played this a little bit. It still suffers from the same problems that the Genesis Witches have, which is typically soul management problems. Unlike Regalia, who can refill the soul with the Angel Grade 1 and the Hemera, the Witches kind of struggle there. So, but because of Legion, they're still not that susceptible to decking out. So that's why I don't feel like the stand's necessary. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.